In the profound, undifferentiated vastness that preceded all form, all sound, and all existence, Ptah resided. He was not born, for there was no birth. He was not made, for there was no maker. He simply times was asterisk. His essence was that of raw potential, of unexpressed genius, a quiescent reservoir of all that could ever be imagined or created. Before the shimmering waters of none, before the concept of boundless darkness, before the first stirrings of the Ogdoad, Ptah existed as a singular, self-contained consciousness, a divine artisan eternally poised at the brink of creation. He was the cosmic silence, not an emptiness, but a fullness so absolute that it absorbed all possibilities within itself. Within his being, infinite universes lay dormant, intricate designs awaited their call to existence, and the very blueprint of reality remained unblemished and unspoken. His heart, a cosmic forge of unparalleled capacity, beat with a rhythm so subtle it was imperceptible, yet it held the nascent pulse of all future life. His mind, clearer than any crystal, deeper than any ocean, encompassed every conceivable thought, every intricate pattern, every fundamental law. Yet, these remained as pure potential, pristine and unmanifested. For an eternity beyond mortal comprehension, Ptah dwelled in this perfect stillness. His internal landscape was a realm of abstract beauty, where ideas existed in their purest, most elegant forms. He perceived the delicate balance of what would become Ma'at, the inherent wisdom in a tree's root system, the complex journey of a star, the nuanced emotion of a tear, all without them taking actual form. They were perfect ideas, held in the divine crucible of his heart. There was no need for action, for everything times was times within him, complete in its conceptual perfection. But even perfection, in its completeness, held the seed of an urge for expression. The cosmic silence was deep, but it awaited its first note. A shift, as subtle as the whisper of light against the edge of a dream, began to stir within Ptah's boundless consciousness. It was not a disruption to his perfect stillness, but rather an enhancement, a new layer of awareness unfurling from the core of his being. For eons, he had held the universe as an internal masterpiece, a symphony of concepts played solely within the chambers of his heart. Now, from this profound, self-contained perfection, emerged a single, compelling desire to manifest. This desire was not a sudden impulse, but a gradual burgeoning, like the slow opening of a flower in an eternal dawn. It began as a seed of thought, small and singular, yet pregnant with infinite potential. This seed was the first conscious intent to bridge the gap between pure idea and tangible reality. Ptah's heart, the divine vessel of all blueprints, began to focus its boundless energy. He contemplated the intricate dance of elements, the elegance of form, the necessity of distinctness. He saw the world not merely as a collection of ideas, but as a harmonious system waiting to interact. To be known resonated a silent, internal voice, not externalized, but a profound self-awareness within Ptah. To be experienced, not merely conceived. This nascent thought was the origin point of all creation, the deliberate decision to move from conceptual is to manifest becomes. It was the first act of will, the initial application of divine intellect to the vast ocean of potential that was Ptah himself. The seed grew, drawing sustenance from the infinite wisdom of his heart, slowly coalescing into a more defined vision. The universe, still unformed and unnamed, felt the gentle yet firm pressure of its creator's burgeoning intention, moving towards its eventual unveiling. The quiet anticipation within Ptah intensified, pointing towards the intricate work that lay ahead. With the seed of thought firmly planted and nurtured within his heart, Ptah began the meticulous work of refining the grand design. It was a process of unparalleled intellectual precision, an act of divine engineering on a cosmic scale. His mind, an infinite canvas, now meticulously rendered every detail of the universe, not as vague impressions, but as fully articulated schematics. He envisioned the immense, shimmering expanse of the sky, its endless blue a testament to the purity of his thought. He detailed the undulating topography of the earth, from the towering peaks of majestic mountains to the fertile valleys that would cradle life. He conceived the intricate network of rivers and oceans, tracing their courses with an infallible sense of hydrological purpose. No element was overlooked, no interaction left unplanned. The delicate balance of ecosystems, the laws of celestial mechanics, the very fabric of gravity and light, all were brought into sharp intellectual focus within his heart. Each component, Ptah's internal voice resonated with profound clarity, must serve its purpose, interact harmoniously, and contribute to the grand design. He saw the myriad forms of life, from the smallest microbe to the most colossal beast, each perfectly adapted to its environment. He conceived of the intricate web of relationships that would bind them, the cycles of birth, growth, and renewal. He even designed the subtle forces of emotion and consciousness, anticipating the intricate inner lives of sentient beings. This was not mere dreaming. It was the construction of a universe in thought alone, a complete, immutable blueprint held within the boundless wisdom of his being. Every atom, every star, every thought, every emotion, every law, all existed in perfect silent harmony within Ptah's heart, waiting for the command to materialize. The universe was ready, but it still lacked its most crucial element, existence outside the divine mind. The universe, in all its intricate glory, now resided as a perfected blueprint within the heart of Ptah. Every star, every river, every blade of grass, and every intricate creature had been conceived, designed, and balanced. Yet, despite its perfection, it remained within Ptah, a silent symphony unplayed, a magnificent epic unread. The profound stillness of his internal realm held the complete creation, but the vital step of externalization, of bringing it forth into being, remained. This moment called for a unique act, a bridging of the internal and the external, the conceptual and the tangible. From the very core of his heart, where the blueprint of existence shimmered with potential, Ptah gathered his immense intellectual power. He didn't just think times of a thing, he formulated the essence of that thing into a cohesive, potent internal structure. It was not yet a sound, but the times prelude times to sound, the pure, unadulterated word as it existed in thought. Let the sky be. Ptah's internal resonance vibrated, not as a command to something external, but as the self-definition of sky within his own being, perfectly defined in its every attribute. Let the earth settle, his silent voice echoed, delineating the form and function of the terrestrial realm. This was the silent utterance, the profound act of giving internal voice to the conceived universe. Each aspect of creation was imbued with its intrinsic name, its inherent properties, its destined purpose, all within the sacred confines of Ptah's heart. These were not mere labels, but the very essence words, carrying the full weight of his creative intent and his perfected blueprint. This internal naming was the foundational act, preparing the way for the grand materialization. The universe was now named in thought, a silent vocabulary of being, waiting for the breath of life to carry it from the heart to the tongue, and from the tongue into manifest existence. The next step would break the eternal silence with the power of the divine word. The silent utterance had filled Ptah's heart with the perfected, named essence of all creation. The universe, ready in concept, now pressed against the boundaries of pure thought, yearning for externalization. The transition from the heart's wisdom to the tongue's pronouncement was the next, pivotal step, a movement of divine will that would reverberate through all of nascent existence. A subtle tremor began within Ptah. It was not a physical tremor as mortal beings experience, but a conceptual one, a divine vibration that initiated the transfer of his internal vocabulary to his means of expression. His lips, previously unmoving in the boundless stillness, parted with infinite slowness. His tongue, a primordial instrument of unparalleled power, began to stir, gathering the profound essence of the named universe from the wellspring of his heart. The very first emanation was not a word, but a whisper, barely audible even to the non-existent ears of the void. It was a breath, a gentle exhalation that carried the faint echo of time's Heka asterisk, the magic of divine utterance. This whisper was the initial vibration of creation, the first ripple across the surface of unformed reality, carrying the pure, unadulterated potential of the heart's blueprint. Hark! Ptah's internal voice resonated, accompanying this nascent sound. The breath of life begins. The world prepares to hear its name. This whisper was the genesis of sound itself, the subtle precursor to all future vibrations, harmonies, and melodies. It was the moment where pure thought began its transformation into audible force, where the conceptual moved irrevocably towards the manifest. The air, though not yet truly formed, seemed to thicken with anticipation. The boundless nothingness, previously unbroken by any sound, now registered this faint, divine exhalation. This was the nascent hum of the cosmos, the overture to the grand symphony of creation, setting the stage for the power of Ptah's full voice. The universe held its breath, ready for the words that would bring it into being. From the initial whisper, Ptah's tongue moved with deliberate, purposeful grace. It was not a haphazard gesture, but an extension of the profound wisdom held within his heart. Each movement of his divine tongue was precisely calibrated to give form to the silent names already conceived, to bring forth the fundamental truths of existence into audible sound. His voice, which had never before been heard, emerged. It was not a shout, but a deep, resonant hum that solidified into distinct, potent syllables. These were not mere sounds, but time's words asterisk, imbued with the full weight of Ptah's creative intent. And with these words, Ptah began to name the unnamed. None, Ptah pronounced, his voice vibrating through the void. And from the formless chaos, the primordial waters of none surged into defined existence, vast and dark, yet now distinct. Naunet, he spoke, and her flowing counterpart materialized alongside him, embodying the dynamic potential within the deep. Hey, he declared, and boundless space stretched forth, an endless canvas for the cosmos. How, he continued, and infinite time began its ceaseless, eternal flow, giving duration to all things. K-U-K, Ptah boomed, his voice echoing into profound depths, and the absolute darkness coalesced, becoming the very fabric of night. Kauket, he articulated, and her mysterious shadows danced into being, defining the unknown. Amun, he whispered, imbuing the very air with the concept of the hidden and unseen. Amaunet, he spoke, and the veiled truth, the secret power, resonated through the nascent realms. With each divine utterance, a specific entity, a fundamental concept, or a primordial force sprang into being, distinct and fully formed in its essence. The power of these names was absolute. They did not merely describe what was, but times created times it. The words were the very act of manifestation, drawing each named thing from the boundless potential of Ptah's heart and speaking it into tangible existence. The void, once silent and empty, now vibrated with the resounding power of these sacred names, defining the earliest forms of the cosmos. Ptah's tongue, guided by his heart, was literally speaking the universe into being, piece by magnificent piece. As Ptah continued to speak, calling forth the fundamental elements and deities, his words did more than simply name, they resonated. Each syllable, each carefully articulated phoneme carried within it the potent times Heka asterisk, the divine magic of creative utterance. This wasn't merely sound waves traversing an empty expanse, it was the very vibration of creation, the fundamental frequency upon which reality would be built. His voice, a rich baritone that seemed to emanate from the very fabric of existence, was a living force. It filled the newly defined none with subtle currents, causing the primordial waters to undulate in rhythmic patterns. It stretched the boundless expanse of He, delineating dimensions and directions with its sonic force. It deepened the profound shadows of Kuk, giving them texture and depth, transforming formless gloom into tangible darkness. And it made the hidden power of Amun palpable, a humming undercurrent beneath all new manifestations. "Let the earth rise," Ptah decreed, and the very vibration of his voice compacted the swirling waters, forming the first solid ground, the primordial mound. The sound didn't just command, it times performed, times the act of rising coalescing matter through sheer sonic will. The air itself, still thin and nascent, became a medium for this divine resonance, carrying the echoes of Ptah's words to the farthest reaches of his expanding creation. The words were sculpting reality, shaping the raw potential into structured forms. This was the power of language as a fundamental force, a dynamic energy that could transform abstract ideas into concrete existence. The universe was not just being named, it was being imbued with the very essence of its creator's voice. The resonance of Ptah's words laid the vibrational groundwork for all that would follow, a testament to the profound magic inherent in every sound he uttered. The cosmos was now a symphony of divine utterance, vibrating with the pulse of time's Heka Astra. With each resonant word, each potent utterance, the world took on ever-increasing solidity and definition. The creative process was no longer abstract, it was a tangible, visible transformation. Ptah's thoughts, once confined to the boundless chambers of his heart, now sprang forth from his tongue, manifesting into the very fabric of reality. He spoke of light, and the first glorious rays broke through the primordial darkness, piercing the veil that Kuk had cast. He spoke of the sky, and a vast, shimmering dome expanded above the newly formed earth, separating the waters above from the waters below. He spoke of land, and continents began to emerge from the receding none, their contours shaped by his very syllables. "Let the stars be scattered across the night," Ptah declared, his voice a profound celestial hum, and countless points of light ignited in the vastness of the heavens, each a distant echo of his creative power. "Let the sun follow its course, and the moon guide the shadows." And with these words, the celestial bodies took their appointed places, beginning their eternal cycles. The process was direct and immediate. There was no laborious crafting, no slow evolution. The word times was times the thing. The thought, fully formed in his heart, was perfectly translated by his tongue into the material world. Mountains surged upwards, valleys carved themselves into the land, and the first gentle breezes stirred the nascent air, all at the command of Ptah's voice. Rivers began to carve their paths, lakes filled with clear water, and the very concept of weather, of changing seasons, was articulated into existence. The universe was no longer a void, it was a burgeoning world, a testament to the unparalleled power of divine language. Every spoken word became a foundational brick, every declaration a cosmic law, every name a complete and enduring essence. The materialization of thought was complete, transforming the abstract blueprint into a magnificent, living reality, all brought forth by the potent power of Ptah's creative speech. The world was now solid, defined, and vibrant, pulsating with the echoes of his divine words. As the physical world solidified under Ptah's potent utterances, the concept of a name took on a significance far beyond mere identification. In the nascent cosmos, a name was not simply a label. It was the very essence, the intrinsic nature, the living truth of a thing or being. To be named by Ptah was to be imbued with existence, purpose, and all defining characteristics. Ptah understood this power inherently. His heart had conceived the unique essence of each creation, and his tongue now perfectly articulated that essence into an immutable name. When he spoke sky, he didn't just create a vast expanse, he created the times of sky, its blueness, its role as a canopy, its capacity to hold clouds and stars. When he named river, he brought forth not merely flowing water, but the life-giving nature of a river, its current, its banks, its ability to nourish. Know your name, and know your purpose. Ptah's voice resonated, a deep, foundational truth that settled into the fabric of the cosmos. For in your name lies your truth, your essence, and your place in the grand design. This principle extended to the nascent deities and cosmic forces he had brought forth. When he named Ra, he instilled Ra with the absolute power of the sun, the source of light and life. When he named Geb, he gave Geb the solid, life-sustaining essence of the earth. These names were not arbitrary. They were profound acts of definition, imbuing each entity with its unique identity and inherent powers. The power of names was the very bedrock of the created universe. It meant that every entity, from the greatest god to the smallest particle, held within its designated name the entirety of its being. To know a name was to know the essence. To speak a name was to invoke that essence. This sacred understanding permeated the very air, becoming an unspoken law. The name was the thing, and the thing was its name, indissolubly linked by the divine will of Ptah. The cosmos was now a tapestry of names, each a thread of existence, holding its unique place in the grand design. With the fundamental principle of names established, Ptah continued his meticulous work, shaping the cosmos with ever-increasing detail and precision. His heart, the infinite repository of perfected blueprints, guided his tongue to articulate each component into existence, defining not only its form but its function and its interrelationship with all other named entities. He spoke of the boundless waters, and the great cosmic ocean, now distinctly called None, settled into its foundational role, cradling the emergent world. He named the solid land, and Geb, the earth god, coalesced into the firmament, providing stability and potential for growth. Above Geb, Ptah named Nut, the sky goddess, and she arched her star-spangled body over the world, separating the earthly realm from the celestial. These were not merely geographical features but divine beings, their very forms embodying the elements they represented. Let the light divide the darkness, and the darkness embrace the stars, Ptah decreed, and the eternal cycle of day and night, the journey of Ra and the mysteries of Kuk and Korkit, were woven into the cosmic fabric. He named the cardinal directions, giving orientation to the vastness. He spoke the names of the winds, and they stirred the nascent atmosphere, carrying whispers of creation across the burgeoning world. From the grandest celestial bodies to the most intricate terrestrial features, each was brought into being by the potent force of Ptah's utterance. The names were precise, tailored to the exact nature and purpose of each element. He named the mountains to stand tall, the valleys to shelter, the deserts to stretch, and the forests to teem with nascent life. The cosmos was no longer just a collection of named entities. It was a vast, interconnected system, each part holding its designated name and fulfilling its ordained role. The spoken words of Ptah had literally shaped the universe, transforming abstract thought into a breathtaking, functioning reality, a testament to the profound architectural power of his divine tongue. The world was now a symphony of interacting forms, each playing its part in the grand design. As the physical cosmos took shape through Ptah's powerful utterances, so too did the intricate web of divine beings who would populate and govern it. It was not enough to merely create the stage. The actors were equally essential. From the wisdom in his heart, Ptah brought forth the concepts of divine powers, each with a specific role and essence, and then, with his tongue, he gave them their sacred names, breathing them into conscious existence. He spoke of Atum, the self-created one, who would bring forth further generations of gods through his own efforts, establishing the lineage of the Ennead. Let Atum arise from the primordial mound, Ptah declared, and the powerful, self-generating deity coalesced, imbued with the initial spark of life. Then came the naming of Shu, and Tefnut, the air and moisture, the fundamental forces that would separate sky and earth. Shu, the upholder of the heavens, Tefnut, the essence of moisture, Ptah proclaimed, and they sprang forth, embodying the vital elements. He named Geb and Nut the earth and sky, solidifying their forms in eternal embrace. Let Geb be the fertile ground, and Nut the starry canopy. Ptah resonated, their forms taking shape as eternal parents of the world. Next, Ptah spoke the names of Osiris, Isis, Set, and Nephthys, giving birth to the gods who would govern life, death, magic, and protection. He even named Horus, the falcon-headed avenger, though his time was yet to come, laying the groundwork for the divine drama that would unfold. Each name was a decree, an act of creation that brought forth a fully sentient, powerful deity, imbued with specific attributes and a destined role within the nascent pantheon. These gods and goddesses were not merely abstract forces, they were living beings, extensions of Ptah's vast intellect, each carrying a piece of his divine essence. Their existence solidified the spiritual hierarchy of the cosmos, providing overseers and protectors for the material world. The pantheon, brought forth by Ptah's tongue, was the very breath of divine governance, ensuring that the newly created world would be watched over, guided, and maintained. The universe was now populated by powerful forces, each known by its sacred name, each fulfilling a crucial role in the grand design. The stage was set, and the divine actors had taken their first breath, awaiting the unfolding drama of creation. With the physical world and the divine pantheon brought forth by the power of his heart and tongue, Ptah then turned his attention to the most crucial element of all, the underlying principle that would govern and sustain all existence. This was Ma'at, the divine order, truth, balance, justice, and cosmic harmony. It was not a deity Ptah named into being as a separate entity, but rather a universal law he articulated into the very fabric of reality, a foundational pattern embedded in every atom and every star. Ptah's heart had conceived Ma'at as the perfect equilibrium, the delicate balance between all opposing forces. His tongue now spoke this intricate pattern into existence, not as a command, but as an inherent truth, an immutable law. Let there be truth in all utterance. Ptah resonated, his voice flowing with crystalline clarity. And balance in all actions. Let justice prevail in all judgments, and order underpin all existence. These were not suggestions, they were foundational tenets, principles of cosmic physics and morality intertwined. He spoke the cycle of day and night into an eternal, predictable rhythm, ensuring Ra's passage and the return of light. He spoke the flow of the Nile into a constant, life-giving pulse, guaranteeing fertility and sustenance. He spoke the laws of cause and effect, ensuring that every action would have its corresponding consequence, maintaining equilibrium. Ma'at became the invisible force that held the universe together, preventing the return to chaos. It was the natural order of things, the way the world's times should times be, articulated by Ptah, and woven into the very essence of creation. It dictated the relationships between gods and mortals, between ruler and ruled, between the living and the dead. Its presence was felt in the gentle breeze, the steady flow of water, the predictable movement of the stars. The universe now possessed not only form and inhabitants, but also a fundamental operating system, a divine code of conduct. Ma'at, the inherent pattern spoken by Ptah, ensured that creation would endure in harmony and purpose. It was the ultimate testament to the wisdom of his heart and the power of his tongue, establishing the eternal rhythm of the cosmos. The stage was not just set, it was balanced, truthful, and just, awaiting the unfolding drama of existence. With Ma'at established as the underlying principle of all existence, Ptah knew that the grand act of creation required not only intellectual conception and spoken manifestation, but also a means of continuous maintenance and reverence. The universe, though perfectly designed, needed a focal point, a sacred anchor to ground its divine order and ensure the perpetuation of its balance. Thus, from the wisdom in his heart, he conceived of the primordial altar. He surveyed the newly formed landscape, the burgeoning land of Kemet, where the mighty Nile had yet to carve its full, majestic course. His gaze settled upon a specific spot, a place where the earth felt particularly resonant, a nexus of nascent energy. With his tongue, Ptah spoke its purpose into being, transforming mere ground into hallowed space. Let this be the place of first offerings. Ptah's voice boomed, imbued with the sacred authority of the Creator, a point of connection between the divine and the manifest, where the balance of Ma'at shall be upheld. As he spoke, the chosen spot shimmered, and a low, flat stone began to rise from the earth, smoothed and polished not by hands, but by the very power of his word. It was simple in form, yet imbued with immense spiritual significance, a beacon of order in the still developing world. This was the primordial altar, the first sacred space, an anchor for all future worship and ritual. Upon this altar, Ptah performed the very first ritual. He did not offer a sacrifice, for there was no need. Instead, he placed upon it the essence of his own creative will, a symbolic representation of the perfection of his heart and the power of his tongue. He consecrated it with silent intent and spoken blessing, weaving Ma'at into its very core. This altar became the physical embodiment of the divine contract, a promise of perpetual harmony, a place where the spoken word, empowered by time's Heka asterisk, could reinforce the order of the cosmos. It was the first temple, the blueprint for all future sacred architecture, a silent testament to the enduring power of Ptah's creation. Upon the primordial altar, shimmering with the subtle glow of divine consecration, Ptah now articulated the very essence of perpetuation, the formula of life. This was not a single word, but a sequence of potent utterances, a ritual chant designed to imbue the newly created world with enduring vitality, and to establish the means by which existence would be sustained and renewed. His heart conceived the intricate mechanisms of life, from the smallest seed germinating in the fertile earth to the complex cycles of the seasons. His tongue, now a conduit for profound time's Heka asterisk, transformed these conceptual processes into active, self-sustaining realities. From death comes life, Ptah proclaimed, his voice echoing across the nascent land, and the cycle of decay and renewal, essential for growth, began to turn. From water springs nourishment, he declared, and the life-giving properties of the Nile and all other waters were eternally affirmed. From barrenness emerges abundance. He resonated, ensuring the fertility of the land and the proliferation of species. This formula was the very incantation of existence, a series of sacred names and invocations that ensured the continuous functioning of the universe. He spoke the intricate process of photosynthesis into being, the means by which sunlight would nourish plants. He spoke the necessity of reproduction, allowing species to multiply and thrive. He even spoke the delicate balance of predator and prey, ensuring a natural order that maintained overall health. Each word in the formula of life was a potent instruction, a divine command that became a fundamental law of nature. It was the underpinning of all biological processes, the guarantee of growth, and the promise of renewal. The ritual chanting of these words by Ptah infused the entire world with a vibrant, self-perpetuating energy. This formula was Ptah's gift of enduring life, ensuring that his creation would not simply exist, but would flourish, adapt, and evolve. It was the very embodiment of his creative will, demonstrating that his spoken words could not only bring forth being, but also sustain it through endless cycles of existence. The world, now vibrant and alive, pulsed with the eternal rhythm of Ptah's life-giving chant. With the formula of life established and the primordial altar humming with sacred energy, Ptah embarked upon a crucial series of consecrations. It was not enough for the elements to simply exist. They needed to be imbued with divine sanctity, to be made sacred instruments of Ma'at, serving their purposes within the grand design. His heart conceived the inherent holiness of each component, and his tongue bestowed upon them their divine roles. He turned first to the fundamental elements. Earth, be the steadfast foundation, rich with life's promise, Ptah declared, and the very soil beneath his feet vibrated with fertile energy, consecrated as the giver of sustenance and the final resting place. Water, be the pure source, cleansing and renewing all, he pronounced. And the waters of Nun and the nascent rivers shimmered with a life-giving essence, destined to nourish all beings. Next, he addressed the celestial. Air, be the breath of life, connecting all realms, Ptah commanded, and the unseen currents filled with invigorating force, carrying life and sound. Fire, be the transformative spark, illuminating and purifying, he articulated, and the concept of light and heat gained its sacred power, essential for both destruction and creation. Each consecration was a distinct, potent utterance, a divine blessing that elevated the mundane to the sacred. Ptah spoke over the nascent flora, giving them the ability to grow and provide shelter. He spoke over the emerging fauna, instilling them with instincts and roles within the ecosystem. He consecrated the very cycles of the world, the seasons, the tides, the movements of the stars, imbuing them with predictable, sacred rhythms. Through these rituals of consecration, Ptah imbued every aspect of his creation with a sacred purpose, establishing a profound connection between the divine and the material. The elements were not merely physical components, they were now active participants in the maintenance of Ma'at, infused with times hecatimes through Ptah's spoken word. This act ensured that the entire universe would forever resonate with divine meaning, making all of creation an extension of his sacred will. The world, now consecrated and sacred, was ready for its full flourishing. As Ptah's grand acts of creation neared completion, and the universe began to settle into the rhythms of Ma'at, he foresaw the immense importance of knowledge, record, and the precise articulation of his divine words. For creation to endure, and for its truths to be perpetually upheld, there needed to be guardians of knowledge, scribes who would diligently record the exact names, formulas, and laws he had uttered. From this profound need, Ptah conceived within his heart the deities of wisdom and writing. With a focused intent, Ptah spoke their names into existence. Thoth be the wisdom of words, the master of sacred speech, the recorder of all knowledge. Seshat be the scribe of destiny, the counter of years, the architect of libraries, and the guardian of sacred texts. And with these potent utterances, Thoth, the ibis-headed god of writing, knowledge, and the moon, sprang forth. His eyes gleamed with ancient wisdom, and in his hand, a stylus and palette, ready to record. Beside him, Seshat, the goddess of writing, reckoning, and libraries, appeared. Her distinctive headdress, a seven-pointed star, marked her as the keeper of divine records and the measurer of time. Your sacred duty, Ptah resonated, his voice carrying the full weight of his creative authority, is to meticulously record every word I have spoken, every name I have declared, every law of Ma'at I have woven into existence. Your task is to ensure that the precision of my utterance is never lost, that the power of names remains understood, and that the rituals for sustaining this world are perfectly preserved. Thoth, with a humble bow, acknowledged his immense responsibility. The heart's intent shall be etched by the tongue, and my hand shall record it for eternity. Seshat added, the archives of time shall preserve every syllable, every sacred formula. From that moment, Thoth and Seshat became the divine scribes, meticulously documenting Ptah's grand creation, ensuring that the times hecatimes within his words would forever be accessible and accurate. Their presence solidified the concept of preserved knowledge, transforming transient utterances into eternal records. The universe was now not only created and ordered, but also meticulously documented, safeguarding the purity of Ptah's original design for all time. The power of the written word, born from the spoken, now served to maintain the cosmic truth. With the cosmos established, its pantheon formed, and Ma'at woven into its very fabric, Ptah's gaze settled once more upon the terrestrial realm, specifically upon the land of Kemet. While the primordial altar served as a universal point of connection, a grander, more focal point was needed, a city that would embody his creative essence, a living testament to the power of his heart and tongue, and a lasting anchor for his divine will on earth. This city would be the heart of Kemet, the axis mundi for humanity's devotion. From the boundless blueprints within his heart, Ptah conceived of a magnificent metropolis, a place where the order of Ma'at would be visibly manifested, where craft and intellect would flourish. With a profound declaration, he spoke its very name and purpose into being, Menefa. Ptah's voice boomed, resonating with the weight of destiny. Let this be the beautiful, enduring foundation, the cradle of civilization, the place where my creative essence shall forever dwell on earth. As he spoke, the chosen site, a fertile plain where the mighty river would soon be fully defined, began to transform. not through physical labor, but through the sheer power of his times, **. The ground rose slightly, foundations of unseen stones solidified, and the ethereal outlines of grand structures began to shimmer into existence. This was Memphis, the city of Ptah, emerging not from a slow build, but from a divine utterance. The air around the nascent city crackled with the energy of creation. Invisible walls soared upwards, temples dedicated to the newly named gods took form, and a royal residence, majestic and imposing, materialized at its heart. These structures were perfect in their design, imbued with the sacred geometry Ptah had conceived. The city was a microcosm of the cosmos, ordered and balanced according to Ma'at, a physical manifestation of divine wisdom. Memphis became more than just a city. It was Ptah's enduring sanctuary, a living symbol of the creative power of the word. Its very existence reaffirmed his role as the great architect and artisan, its every stone a testament to his heart's vision and his tongue's command. This sacred city, born from the divine utterance, stood as the ultimate anchor for cosmic order on earth, a beacon of civilization for all who would dwell within its sacred walls. No city could truly thrive, nor could a civilization endure without the lifeblood of Kemet. As Memphis, the divine city, rose from the earth through Ptah's spoken word, the most vital element of its existence remained to be fully defined: the great river. Ptah's heart, having conceived the perfect hydrological system for his chosen land, now turned his tongue to its ultimate articulation. He observed the subtle depressions and nascent channels that would one day hold the magnificent river. With a profound understanding of life-giving flow, Ptah spoke the name of the river into being, giving it its eternal current and its unwavering purpose. Happy. Ptah's voice resonated, flowing like water itself. Be the sacred river, the life-giver, the eternal nourisher of Kemet. Let your waters rise and fall in harmony with Ma'at, bringing fertility and abundance to the land, shaping the destiny of all who dwell by your banks. As the divine name, Happy, left Ptah's lips, an immense, unseen current surged through the earth. From deep within the primordial waters of Nun, a powerful, organized flow began. It wasn't a violent torrent, but a majestic, deliberate unfolding. The channels that Ptah had conceptually designed now filled with fresh, pure water, carving a winding, majestic path through the fertile land. The Nile, in all its glory, began its first magnificent flow, its currents shimmering under the nascent sun. The sound of the rushing water, a symphony of life, filled the air around Memphis. It was the first truly natural sound born of a complete system, a testament to the power of Ptah's word. The river was not merely a physical entity, it was a divine manifestation, its annual inundation a sacred ritual, its waters imbued with the very essence of Ptah's creative blessing. The Nile became the life-sustaining artery of Kemet, flowing past the newly formed Memphis, providing water, fertile silt, and a pathway for navigation. It was a constant, tangible reminder of Ptah's creative power, a living embodiment of his spoken word. With the Nile's first flow, Memphis was truly brought to life, anchored to the rhythm of the river, destined to become the heart of a vibrant civilization. Within the heart of Memphis, a city already magnificent by virtue of Ptah's utterance, the most sacred structure of all began to coalesce with ever-increasing clarity. It was to be Ptah's own temple, the Hut Ka Ptah, the enclosure of the Ka of Ptah, a place where his divine essence would forever reside. A cosmic anchor connecting the earthly realm directly to the source of all creation. Ptah's heart had conceived a sanctuary of unparalleled majesty, a physical representation of the boundless wisdom it contained. His tongue, with precision and profound authority, spoke each component into existence, beginning with its most symbolic feature, the Grand Gate. Let this gate be the threshold between worlds. Ptah's voice resonated, deepening with solemn power. A portal where the divine and the mortal may commune, where my creative power is ever present. Let its stones be inscribed with the truths of Ma'at, and its entrance ever open to those who seek wisdom and order. As the words left his lips, two colossal pylons, carved from the finest, ethereal stone, materialized at the entrance of the temple precinct. They rose with majestic grandeur, their surfaces already etched with intricate hieroglyphs, each symbol a fragment of Ptah's initial creative words. Between them, a massive, double-leafed gate, fashioned from burnished electrum, swung silently into place, its surface reflecting the nascent sunlight with a golden gleam. This was more than just an architectural feature, it was a sacred statement. The temple's gate was the embodiment of Ptah's welcoming presence, a symbolic opening into the heart of creation itself. Its immense size spoke of divine authority, its inscriptions of eternal truth, and its very existence of a perpetual connection between creator and created. Within the temple walls, though not yet fully detailed, the ethereal shapes of courtyards, hypostyle halls, and the innermost sanctuary, the Holy of Holies, began to take form, all awaiting Ptah's further articulation. This temple, with its magnificent gate, became the spiritual epicenter of Memphis, a place where rituals would be performed, prayers offered, and the power of the divine word continually invoked. It stood as a permanent, tangible link to Ptah's creative acts, solidifying his presence and authority within the very fabric of the world he had spoken into being. With his magnificent temple rising in Memphis, a living testament to his creative power, Ptah turned his heart to the concept of continuation, protection, and the subtle, nurturing forces that would sustain his creation. His vast intellect understood that even the singular act of creation required a complementary presence, a divine family that would embody aspects of his own being and oversee the unfolding world. From this profound insight, Ptah brought forth the Memphite triad. Within his heart, he conceived of two divine beings who would reflect his strength and his nurturing essence. With his tongue, he spoke their names and roles into existence, establishing a sacred family unit for Memphis and all of Kemet. Sekhmet, Ptah proclaimed, his voice resonating with power and protective fire, be the strong one, the lady of pestilence and war, the fierce protector of Ma'at. Let your fiery gaze ward off chaos and your healing touch restore balance. And from Ptah's essence, Sekhmet the lioness-headed goddess, fierce and majestic, sprang forth, embodying divine retribution and potent healing, a manifestation of Ptah's raw, creative power and destructive potential when Ma'at was threatened. Nefertum, Ptah then declared, his voice softening with nurturing grace, be the beautiful one, the lord of the lotus, the bringer of healing and perfumes, the symbol of renewal from the primordial waters. And from Ptah's being emerged, Nefertem, the young god, often depicted with a lotus blossom as his crown, embodying beauty, healing, and the sweet scent of creation, a representation of Ptah's gentle, nurturing aspect and the promise of rebirth. This triad Ptah, Sekhmet, and Nefertem became the divine family of Memphis, each representing a crucial facet of creation and maintenance. Ptah was the intellectual creator, the artisan god, the conceptualizer of all things. Sekhmet was the executor of his will, the powerful force that protected Ma'at with ferocious resolve and healed with potent medicine. Nefertem was the beauty, the renewal, the blossoming of life that emerged from the primordial. Together, they represented the complete cycle of creation, the thought, the fierce protective action, and the beautiful, life-affirming result. Their presence solidified the divine governance of Memphis, providing a multifaceted approach to sustaining the cosmic order Ptah had spoken into being. The city was now spiritually guarded, its divine family reflecting the intricate, balanced nature of its creator. With Memphis established as his earthly seat, the divine triad in place, and the cosmos diligently unfolding according to Ma'at, Ptah now turned his heart to a deeper aspect of his creation, humanity. It was not enough for mankind to simply exist, they must also possess the capacity to understand, to innovate, and to participate, in their own way, in the ongoing maintenance of creation. For this, Ptah bestowed upon them the gift of craft. His heart, the divine artisan's crucible, held the perfect forms of every tool, every technique, every intricate skill. His tongue, with deliberate grace and profound intention, articulated the very times concept, times of craftsmanship, into the human spirit. Let humanity know the joy of shaping. Ptah's voice resonated, imbued with a deep satisfaction. Let them grasp the form from the formless, and the purpose from the raw material. Let them understand the rhythm of hammer and chisel, the discipline of the potter's wheel, the precision of the architect's line. For in creation, they reflect my own divine essence. As Ptah spoke, a subtle spark of divine ingenuity ignited within the nascent consciousness of humanity. It wasn't a physical act, but an infusion of intellect and inherent skill. The first humans, emerging from the fertile earth of Kemet, found themselves instinctively understanding the properties of clay, the strength of stone, the flexibility of wood. They began to pick up rudimentary tools, driven by an inner urge to mimic the creative acts they subconsciously perceived. Ptah became the patron god of artisans, sculptors, metalworkers, and architects. His essence permeated every workshop, every forge, every building site. When a craftsman conceived of a new design in their mind, Ptah's heart was the silent echo. When they shaped raw materials with their hands, Ptah's tongue was the unspoken guide, imbuing their work with a touch of time's Heka asterisk. This breath of craft was a profound legacy, a direct connection between the creator and the created. It allowed humanity to not merely consume but to contribute, to understand the beauty of Ma'at through the balanced forms they created. Through their skilled hands, the divine order of the universe found its earthly reflection, ensuring that Ptah's creative spark would live on, perpetually reenacted in the daily work of human ingenuity. The world was now not just a creation, but a workshop, where humans, inspired by Ptah, continued the act of building and refining. Having endowed humanity with the breath of craft, Ptah's heart recognized another fundamental aspect of his own divine power that needed to be shared, albeit in a lesser form, with his creations: the power of language. For humans to truly organize, to share knowledge, to uphold Ma'at, and to fully appreciate the world he had spoken into being, they needed to communicate, to name, and to articulate. Within the boundless wisdom of his heart, Ptah conceived of human language, its intricate grammar, its vast vocabulary, its capacity for both profound truth and subtle nuance. His tongue, with a deliberate, gentle grace, then uttered the very times capacity times for speech into the human mind. Let humanity speak, Ptah's voice resonated, a soft, profound hum that wove into the very fabric of human consciousness. Let them articulate their thoughts, name the objects around them, share their experiences, and express their reverence. For in the naming of things, they will understand their essence, and in the sharing of words, they will build their society. As his words permeated the human spirit, the nascent minds of humanity stirred with a new, incredible potential. They began to associate sounds with objects, to form rudimentary syllables that represented concepts. The first words were simple, echoes of Ptah's own naming: water, earth, sun, but they carried immense power, allowing humans to categorize and understand their world in a way no other creature could. This was the gift of language, an echo of Ptah's own creative power. It bestowed upon humanity the ability to define their reality, to pass down knowledge, to formulate laws, and to engage in complex thought. It was through language that they would tell stories, sing praises to the gods, and eventually interpret the very myths of creation, including Ptah's own story. The capacity for speech also came with an inherent responsibility, a subtle understanding of time's Heka asterisk. While not as potent as Ptah's divine utterances, human words still held power, to build or to destroy, to enlighten or to mislead. They were an instrument for upholding Ma'at, for speaking truth and fostering harmony. The world, now filled with the chatter of human voices, was a vibrant tapestry of communication, each word a testament to Ptah's profound and generous legacy. With the gift of craft and the power of language bestowed upon humanity, Ptah's work of creation had largely transitioned from direct divine utterance to the self-sustaining mechanisms he had designed. Yet the maintenance of Ma'at, the cosmic order, balance, and truth remained paramount. While Ptah had woven it into the very fabric of existence, It required active participation, a conscious effort from both gods and mortals, to prevent the insidious creep of Isfet chaos. Ptah's heart understood that rituals and ceremonies, meticulously designed and correctly performed, were the earthly anchors for Ma'at. His tongue had conceived the sacred formulas, and now he inspired humanity, through their priests and rulers, to perpetually reenact them. Let the words of the sacred rites be spoken with precision. Ptah's voice resonated, a steady, guiding force. Let the offerings be made with sincerity, and the temples maintained with diligence. For each ritual is a reaffirmation of the cosmic order, a thread woven anew into the tapestry of Ma'at, strengthening its hold against the encroaching chaos. The priests of Memphis, inspired by Ptah's essence, meticulously studied the ancient texts, the records diligently kept by Thoth and Seshat, ensuring that every incantation, every gesture, every sacred name was pronounced with exactitude. They understood that a correctly spoken word in a ritual held immense times Heka*, a fragment of Ptah's original creative power, capable of renewing the land, ensuring the Nile's flood, and protecting the pharaoh. From the grand daily temple rites to the humble household prayers, the repeated invocation of names, the chanting of formulas, and the adherence to sacred traditions served as a constant reinforcement of Ma'at. Humans, through their diligent practice, became active participants in cosmic maintenance, their collective intentions, and correctly performed rituals contributing to the stability of the universe. Thus, the legacy of Ptah's creative acts extended into the daily lives of humanity. The power of the grand epic of Ptah's creation reached its zenith, and his direct, overt acts of bringing forth the cosmos through heart and tongue began to recede into a state of perpetual oversight. His physical presence, once commanding and immediate, became diffused throughout his creation, a silent, pervasive force. He did not vanish, for he was the very essence of existence, but rather settled into his role as the eternal architect, the conceptualizer, the hidden power behind all ongoing manifestation. Ptah's heart remained the wellspring of all ideas, the infinite library of blueprints for all that was, is, and is yet to be. His tongue, though no longer articulating the universe into raw existence, continued to be the source of time's Heka*, the underlying power that animated all words, all incantations, all divine commands. Every act of creation, every skillful craft, every truthful utterance in Kemet carried within it an echo of Ptah. His city, Memphis, stood as an enduring monument to his ingenuity, its grand temples and bustling workshops a living testament to the power of his words. The Nile continued its life-giving flow, a constant reminder of his blessing. The cycles of day and night, life and death, continued in perfect harmony with Ma'at, upheld by the divine laws he had spoken into being. My essence is everywhere. Ptah's silent, profound thought resonated through the cosmos, not as a voice, but as an undeniable truth embedded in the fabric of reality. In the craftsman's hand, in the scribe's word, in the priest's chant, in the beating heart of all life, my creation continues through you. The gods he had named carried on their divine duties, governing the realms he had designed. Thoth and Seshat diligently recorded and preserved the sacred words. Humanity, with their gifts of craft and language, continued to build, to name, to worship, and to maintain Ma'at through their daily lives and sacred rituals. Ptah's legacy was not a distant memory, but a living, breathing reality, perpetually reenacted. The power of the spoken word, the profound truth that to speak is to create, became the cornerstone of Egyptian thought and ritual. The universe, once a mere thought in the heart of Ptah, had been uttered into existence by his tongue, and its ongoing story was the journey from the profound stillness within Ptah's heart to the vibrant, ordered cosmos was a testament to the unparalleled power of intellect and utterance. From the initial seed of thought, through the meticulous design of the universe within his being, Ptah brought forth all existence. His tongue, guided by the flawless blueprint of his heart, spoke the fundamental names, the cosmic laws, and the intricate details of creation into tangible reality. He named the primordial gods, solidified the elements, established the cycle of celestial bodies, and wove the immutable principle of Ma'at into the very fabric of existence. The sacred city of Memphis rose from his words, the Nile flowed at his command, and the powerful Memphite triad emerged to oversee his creation. Finally, he endowed humanity with the breath of craft and the gift of language, allowing them to participate in the ongoing maintenance of the cosmos. The core message of the Memphite theology echoes through eternity. Creation is an act of articulate thought. The universe is not a random occurrence, but a meticulously conceived and deliberately spoken reality. The power of language, of the precisely chosen word, carries within it a fragment of Ptah's original times Heka asterisk. Whether in the grand declarations of gods or the humble chants of priests, the spoken word holds the authority to define, to manifest, and to maintain. Ma'at, the divine order, is perpetually upheld by this power. The rituals, the names, the incantations, all meticulously recorded by Thoth and Seshat, serve as the living echoes of Ptah's initial creative acts. They ensure